Okay, we're live with Kiyomi from Hunter Valentine and
Hi.
the Linda Perry project. And I'm assuming that everybody here is not only a fan of Hunter Valentine, but also watching the show. So let's start off with talking about last night's episode where Hunter Valentine and everybody else, all the other musicians, had to take three chords and write a song and perform it. Can you tell us how nerve-wracking that is? Or is it easy for you to write a song based on three chords? Like, how fast can you do something like that?
I mean, it's a lot of the greatest songs in pop culture history are in pop music history are three chords. So it's not like a terrifying task. I think that the bigger challenge was probably the short amount of time that we had, and then performing it right away in front of, a lot of people. So we're used to performing in front of a lot of people. I think we're just questioning each other's what everyone was doing in that song that also made it a little bit of more of a challenge.
Yeah, so from what we can tell, it seems like when you were doing the 15-minute practice with Linda's band, that you and Amy just were disagreeing about how something should be sung or played, or what was it that was the disagreement?
Um, to be honest, I didn't have a disagreement with her. I was trying to make suggestions and say, why don't you sing this part? Why don't you, what chord did you want to go to here? Okay, let's try this. Like, I was literally trying to do whatever, try whatever she wanted to try, but anything that we did, it was just met with, negativity and thinking that it didn't sound good, or I don't, so at some point you just have to make a decision as to what you're going to do because you have to perform this song. So, I mean, I wasn't disagreeing with anything that she was saying because she wasn't bringing a solid idea of what she wanted to actually do because she didn't know what she wanted to do.
Mhm. And so when it came time to perform the song, we didn't get to see like the whole performance on the episode. So can you tell us a little bit about what actually happened?
Um, well, we also, one thing that they didn't really address is that we decided to use Linda's bass player last minute, and he didn't have the right chords. So he was playing something totally different. Not his fault, but so that was like why also we're like doing this a lot and confused because
Yeah.
there's a sound that we don't know where it's coming from and it's wrong. So I mean these are the behind the scenes things that you don't catch, but um yeah, something was off, and I was looking at her because I couldn't figure out what it was, and I think she was doing the same. So it was just a shit show.
Is that song one that you are ever going to play again in your life?
I was doing like some acoustic stuff um, in like April and whatever, all around the U.S. On my own, and I played that song because I love that song. That's not how it sounds.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll play it for you guys on Facebook and put it on Facebook or something.
Yeah, that'd be great so they can hear what
This,
it's supposed to
yeah,
sound like.
beautiful song, and I changed the words, changed the lyrics to it actually being about leaving for tour, which most of our fans know we tour a lot, and when you leave for tour, quite often you're leaving someone behind. I left somebody behind for like 2 years straight, so it's about that person having that resentment and being angry over leaving, but you have to just go anyway.
Hmm. So at the end of the episode, when Linda and Amy are having sort of a heart to heart, what is it like for you to watch it now and see that she was feeling that and talking to Linda about it?
I feel, I mean, I'm doing this live chat with you to be very honest, so I will be honest and frank. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I feel a little bit betrayed, and I feel like it was like she was very dishonest because we were in a band for a year and we didn't hear a word of her saying that she didn't want to be in the band. Um, and then the cameras started rolling, and then all of a sudden she didn't want to be in the band anymore. Which, you know, if she didn't have the balls to say it to our faces when we were taking her to Japan or Europe or whatever, then that's one thing. But if it's about, I've had that experience where the cameras go on and people act completely differently. I never thought that Amy was like that, and I don't think she actually is. But it's very surprising, hurtful, and shocking to watch some of the things that she has to say.
Mm. Is it that she likes different kind of music or likes to make different kind of music, or what is it that is really behind it, do you think?
I think she doesn't like. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I definitely know that she wanted to be a front person, or wants, you know, like she has those feelings inside her, which I would never, 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 you know, take away from. I think that if you're a hard worker and if you believe in your art, you should probably do both. You should work with a band that, you know, pays you and you can tour around the world, and you should fulfill your own dream. You know, like when Hunter Valentine was on our off time, that's what I was doing. I was playing like country acoustic solo music because that's what I wanted to do, because I needed to fulfill that within myself. So I believe that you could do both, and I think that's a smarter business thing to do and the smarter thing to do for your heart. But I think, yeah, also a lot of the music maybe she didn't believe in, but she came into the band when the record was already written. So, and she was into the record when we first started, but who knows if that's even true.
I hope so. I hope it is. I would hate to think that you know, she doesn't strike me as ingenuine that way. So hopefully that's not the case. So all right. Well, some people have questions about the show too, so I will get to those on Twitter. But first, let's do a little bit of a fun one, because Marcel asked if you prefer taking a bath or a shower.
Ooh, that's a great question. I mean, they serve different purposes, you know? Mm-hmm. I think that a shower, I always prefer to get clean. Mm-hmm. But a bath is more of a sensual thing. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's about relaxing, or if your muscles are hurting. I like a hot bath in the wintertime with a bourbon. There's nothing better than that.
Yeah, sounds great. You also need more time for a bath, you know? Shower's just so quick, but
yeah.
All right, let's see. How does it feel, Rebecca wants to know, how does it make you feel when you're watching the episodes of the Linda Perry Project?
Again, I'm just going to be real honest, because I think that's what makes things more interesting. I have a lot of anxiety because I don't get to watch it ahead of time. And, you know, it's a television show. You never know, like, what's going to happen. You never know how things are going to be edited. I think they're doing a really great job. I think they're pretty honest with the way that they're doing things, as opposed to a lot of other shows out there. I've heard of, you know, horror stories of people getting fucked over. But yeah, you know, it's a little bit scary, and then you just have to take that moment and be okay with it and understand it's all a part of a bigger picture.
Do you typically watch it by yourself or with friends at your house, or what do you do?
It's funny because I have like an obligation every Wednesday and I can't watch it live, so I always watch it before we do this. So, you know, I get up on Thursday morning and make my coffee, and that's the first thing I do.
That's what I did today too. Perfect. Okay.
I'm like, what?
Awesome. Alicia wants to know, okay, she said, okay, I have to ask, and I'm shocked no one has. Have any of you ever hooked up with fans? Any of you and Hunter Valentine? Be honest. You said you were going to be honest.
Well, I think I've like some makeouts, but nothing really more than that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Does it usually creep you out if somebody's like knows you and is a fan, or do you prefer them to not know who you are?
You know what I think is creepy? When people pretend that they don't. Mm-hmm. And then you like start to get to know them, and then you find out. It's like, who cares? You know, if I saw you working at Bank of America all the time, I would acknowledge it. Like, you can acknowledge my job. It's okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. But yeah, I think some of the other girls may have hooked up with some friends.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, so it's okay. Somebody, Dave's twin Seven wants to know, having been on two TV shows, fans seem to think they know you personally, and they want to know if anyone has done anything that has gone too far.
What do you think they mean gone too far?
I think maybe, I don't know, like just trying to act like they know you when they don't really somehow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what an example, and I don't want to make anyone feel bad.
Okay, okay. Well,
Like I appreciate all of the getting to know you tactics,
mhm.
and I'm grateful for it. Uh, no one's taking it too far where I'm like offended. I'm offended when people think they know me and so they insult me like over
Oh,
the internet and then hide behind their keyboard.
mhm.
I think that's like what a waste of your time and your life, like to try and insult someone's efforts and them just living their life. You must have a really miserable life to do that. And it happens all the time. Like I was complaining about some chat some chat room that like is just brutal, 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 brutal. Had to stop reading that one.
Don't read it. Don't read
I
it.
don't read it. I learned that lesson when we did the real L word. Like I think Amanda Lee Dunn was like, "Have you checked out this chat room? It's brutal, brutal, brutal." And I went on it, and it's kind of like crack. Like you can't stop reading it, but you're like, "Oh, my heart." So yeah.
What's the worst rumor you've ever heard about yourself that wasn't true?
Oh, that Laura and I hook up all the time. It's pretty bad.
All the time. I love it when people are like, you know, they hook up all the time, and you're just like, why would you think that? Anyways, people are weird. Um, okay, Melissa says, if you could play any venue to a sold out crowd, which one would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one. Because like you would think that you'd want to pick like a really big, massive one, but um, I think it's more about like having a cooler vibe. I really liked when we played Massey Hall, which is in Toronto, in my hometown.
Mhm.
But it wasn't. We were just opening for Cyndi Lauper. But if we played there and we sold it out, that would be pretty cool. Or Barclay Center in Brooklyn, that would be pretty dope.
Nice. Okay. Let's see. Melissa wants to know if being on the real L Word made it easier to be on this reality show.
Actually, I think that in some ways it made it more difficult because I was so paranoid about how they were going to portray me. um, but it definitely gives you like a a little bit of help to be on a show previously, just in terms of, you know, if you're very angry about something, then you should probably step out of the room. Or if don't just shoot your mouth off, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Laura says she thought last night was a difficult episode to watch, but you guys always pull through. Are there any lessons that you learned from watching this one?
Um, I think that the lesson that I learned is to just continue to follow my instincts and my gut because, like I said, I do like that song, and I think it would have gone really smoothly if it was just Laura and I. I'm not trying to put Amy down. I'm just saying that she made it more complicated than it needed to be. Like she gets inside of her head a little bit, and it was a 3-chord song, a simple melody, simple words, and like with the harmonies and everything, it was a really pretty beautiful song, and it is that a pretty beautiful song. So I think just to like stick to your guns would be what what I learned, and I was trying to be more open to what everyone wanted, and I think that is really important. But you also have to follow your gut.
Hmm. Yeah, and you only had so much time too, so that had to have been the pressure. The pressure was on there. So,
Yeah.
uh, would you ever be on a dating reality show?
Is that your question,
No,
Trish?
another person's question. I'm like, I just want to know if you'd ever be on a dating reality show. What if it could be like on like Tila Tequila, a shot at love with Kiyomi? That would be awesome.
Oh yeah, that would be hilarious. Um, I mean, I think it would be fun. I actually wanted to create a show. Maybe you should do this with me. I wanted to create a show for Laura because I think that the shows that we've been on, they never show Laura's like full-on personality, which is insane in a good way. Um, so I wanted to create this show where we create a profile for her on a dating website, and
Mhm.
then she gets to pick one date, and me and Leanne, the bass player, get to pick two other ones. One that is good and one that is like not good for her, not a good match at all.
Amazing. That would be
And she
great.
goes out, she goes out on the dates, and it's her date. It shows her on her date, then maybe the really bad one, and then the one that we think is a good match, and just see what happens. Because
Okay.
she's really entertaining. She really is.
But you were totally skirting the question on if you would. So would you do
Oh, I guess I would. I mean, maybe. Because those shows are like a lot more simple. You don't have to worry about like, it's just like a formula. So yeah, maybe I would.
they just
Who knows?
plan for you to go on really awesome dates, and then even if the person sucks, you're like, but I'm jet skiing in the middle of the ocean, and it's great. So why not?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll do it. You set it
Okay,
up,
we'll
and
set we'll
I'll.
set it up immediately. Um,
One like that? Is there like a gay or lesbian? Is there?
no,
No.
that one like that's why a shot at love was like the only thing I knew Tila Tequila, and that was years ago. So, Rachel wants to know what music inspired you growing up, and who inspires you now.
Um, Growing up, I used to listen to a lot of Motown, actually, surprisingly, just because, they're all amazing songs, catchy songs, poppy songs, but, put together with incredible singers. I also used to listen to a lot of Neil Young. He's Canadian. He's a great songwriter. And then nowadays, what am I listening to right now? I'm listening to a lot of Drake.
Yeah, I love Drake.
And
Because he's from Toronto, like, do you have pride about him because he's from Canada?
yeah, I do, but he's also dope as hell. So I mean, but I also listen to this punk rock band called 4 Year Strong. Right now, they're on Warped Tour. I've said this a million times. I'm always listening to the Distillers. We like Muse. We told you that. What else? Oh, there's this artist called Rye, which is really good, and I
Right.
could Rhye.
Okay.
It's kind of like Sade a bit,
Hmm.
except cooler and hipper.
What are you
Uh,
trying to say about Sade? Sade is cool.
she is cool, but my mom listens to her,
I
so
know. It's like always in my nail salon. I'm like, okay. So, but yes, I will have to check her out because I do love Sade. So.
yeah, check out Rye. Well, Rye is actually a dude, but sounds like a woman.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Nimray wants to know, just want to know how you and Laura became friends.
Um, I was 17 and she was older, and I snuck into my first gay bar up the fire escape in the back.
Awesome.
And with my friend, we were 17. We were high school kids, and we were wearing like these 80s cycling glasses, like just as a joke, like those ones that don't have the rims at the bottom that are fluorescent. And we were sitting at the bar, like joking around, and she was like, "Who the fuck are those people?" And walked over to us and just started talking, and we went out to, like, the night lasted till like 5 in the morning, and we went out to see bands and just got crazy. And she disappeared for a little while 'cause she went to go tree planting, like cooking. She was cooking for tree planters in northern Canada, and I had lost my drummer at the time. He went to go somewhere else, and he went to Australia or something. So I needed a drummer, and I remember that the crazy girl, that girl plays drums. So I called the restaurant I knew she worked at, and she was gone. And then eventually, a few months later, came back, and I ran into her at the same bar, and I was like, I need you now. And then
That's a great story. How
yeah.
resourceful you are calling that restaurant and asking where she was, too.
Yeah, except when I called, I was like, "Hi, can I speak to Laura?" And there was like four of them.
Oh, God. You're like the one that was at the lesbian bar. You're like, am I outing her? I don't know. She plays drums. Oh, my God. That's
Great.
awesome. That's a good story, though. I'm glad that person asked because I'm curious, too.
That girl outs herself when she walks out of their house at the beginning of the day.
Hey, you never know. Back in the day, people were crazy about it. But Adriana wants to know how your parents feel about you in a band.
My parents have always been like very, very supportive, and since the very beginning when I started playing shows in little coffee shops when I was like 15, 16 years old, they would come to all my shows up until I moved out of Toronto. Um, I mean, like I still go back to Toronto and back and forth, but ever since they came to every single show in the city, and they like travel. My dad came to Japan with us and saw us play there. My mom came to Europe and met us there and came on tour for a minute. So they're very supportive, and they think that as long as what I'm doing makes me happy, and they're happy. And also, I think they're pretty proud of like the successes that we have had, and they definitely talk about it a lot to their friends, I think.
Oh, that's cute. Did they watch this show and did they watch The Real L Word?
They watched The Real L Word, and I watched one episode with them, and it was so awkward that I had to leave.
You're explaining what's happening here. You're like, well, you see, when you fist somebody, it's like this. No.
Yeah. They actually have not watched this show yet because it's not airing in Canada, and I don't think you could stream it either, so we'll have to figure it out.
Okay. I'm sure they'll see it at some point. Let's see here. Julie wants to know, will your new album take a different direction? What can we expect?
Um, we're still working on it, and it's like taking so many different directions right now that it's really hard to say. There's like some super sugary pop on there. There's like more quiet acoustic stuff. There's like a hard driving rock songs. It's all over the map. So I think that when you get in the studio, which we're going into the studio next week to start some recordings, that's where you create a sort of cohesiveness to how they're all going to come together.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I think it's definitely going to be somewhat of a departure, but we still like very loud rock and roll music, and we like pop songs, so there will be that there.
Nice. All right, let's see. Lisa wants to know, who is your tattoo guy? And when are you going to learn to ride a motorcycle? When are you going to take the time to learn to ride a motorcycle?
Is she going to teach me?
I guess she wants you to have tattoos and ride a bike. So,
my tattoo artist his name is Mike, and he works at Flyrite. Mike Lucena, and he works at Flyrite Tattoos in Brooklyn, New York.
okay.
He's done this Guadalupe here, this Matador thing you can't really see very well. He did my cock right here. My rooster, you can't really see. He's an excellent artist. You should go see him.
Okay.
And motorcycles. Well, I grew up on motorcycles because my dad always rode a motorcycle. So it's been a long time coming that I'm supposed to get my motorcycle license. So maybe this fall. I think fall's a good time to learn.
Sounds great. Where do you even practice riding a motorcycle in New York, though? Is there like a place?
I think just big parking lots, like more. It's not going to be in Manhattan. It's going to be like in Jersey or in Queens or something like that.
Using space. Okay, Adriana wants to know if you've ever experienced a poor vocal performance with your band.
Like if I'd done a bad job? Probably.
Really off time. Like, did you have like one show that you were like, oh man, I bombed?
For vocals, I have most producers say that like I'm not like a singer that has a crazy range like a a R&B singer. Like I'm a very stylized rock singer, obviously. But most producers say that I do have a very good pitch, which means like I don't go off, I don't go flat, or I don't go sharp.
Mhm.
The times that I've had bad vocal performances are when my voice is really tired and I'm losing my voice from singing every single night on tour. So that's just more about it being strained. So that's what I would say would be a bad vocal performance.
Yeah, but that's probably just something that you can tell personally and not the people watching you.
I don't know. I like to do my best every day, Trish.
But also, don't you think sometimes, like when you have a little bit of that like gruff like edge, it makes it sound more rock and roll?
Yes, but I think I already have that naturally. So it's like
Okay.
if I'm losing my voice, then it's just like and nothing comes out.
Got it. Um, how do you feel when fans are defensive on your behalf? Melissa wants to know. Like if somebody's saying something rude about you and they come to your defense, how do you feel about it?
I feel like that's my team, yo. No, I feel a very strong connection with our fans and supporters, and it makes me. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it makes me smile a bit, and it makes me feel like, um, you know, it's kind of like a unified front for. I don't know how to explain it. There's like some kind of solidarity in it. You know what I mean?
That's very nice.
It's Also, because like the people that say negative shit, they're dumb idiots, and like who takes the time to go on to someone's Twitter or someone's Facebook and say something if you don't like them? Like that's it's really. I'm trying to think of an artist I don't like, but like picturing myself Googling their name, finding their social media, clicking, and then being like, "You're an asshole. I hate your music."
You know why? Because you don't have that time. You don't have the time of day to do that. That's why. Because you're busy making stuff. So that's why you don't do it. So just feel better about that. Well, sorry. Adriana wants you to know that you have a unique voice and she loves it. She just wants you to know that.
Thank you, Adriana.
Emma wants you to come back to Sweden with your band and says puss puss, and she says that means kisses. I love it.
Okay, so I'll tell you this story. Okay.
Yeah.
So Lauren and I just went to Sweden to do a DJ set each, and we were also on the float for Pride. And the promoters that were bringing us over are, who worked with them a couple times. I met them at L Beach Festival in Germany. So this one promoter, she's every email, because you go back and forth, doing all the planning and contracts, whatever. She's after every email, she's like, she signs it like Puss, and then her name, and I was like. I thought she has a very interesting sense of humor.
Amazing.
So I didn't know that it meant kisses. So the joke is, what I put on my Instagram, and I didn't explain it, is that for 6 months she was signing puss or puss puss, and then her name, and I would like get these emails and be out with my friends, and I'm like, this chick signs her emails puss, like pussy, like it's like I don't get it.
That's amazing.
And then I get there and I explain it to the other promoter, and she's like, it means kisses, Kiyomi. And we were just like dying.
Oh my god, too good.
For 6 months, I thought she was a complete weirdo, and then I figured it out. So now her name is Puss Puss.
I love it. That might have been her actually saying that. Maybe she was just messing with us. Is her name Emma?
No, but I did put it on my Instagram, and people are like, why are you calling her Puss Puss?
Oh my god, it's amazing. Okay, well, we have time for one more because it's already 11:31. And Chelsea wants to know.
How many more do you have?
I think I just have this one because I've been going back and forth.
Okay.
So, she said she loves your Chelsea says, love your music, and I hope you and Amy can work things out. Are you and Lauren still friends or on speaking terms?
Oh, I hope that, Amy and I are good, so we'll see what happens on the show. I can't talk about what happens, but we'll see what happens. Lauren and I are friends. Yeah, it's a completely different breakup and experience that I've had from previous ones because there are certain things that you need to process when you go through a breakup. But it's really really very important for me to be friends with her. And we went up to Sweden, and I think we were both like, we're going to Sweden because we booked it like way before we broke up. And all of my friends were like, "You're going to Sweden with your ex-girlfriend?" But it was actually really good for us because we still have a lot in common, and it works out in a great way for friendship. So yeah, we talk and we're still friends.
Awesome. Well, thank you for answering all of our questions. And are you going to be back next week, or will Laura, or both of you?
I think both of us will be back because we're going to be in LA
Okay.
next week. And so I also wanted to tell everyone that we have a special acoustic show with a meet and greet on August 16th in LA, and you can check out the rest of the details on our website and Facebook. So
Cool.
if you live in the LA area, come and hang out with us.
Awesome. Well, maybe we could even do a hangout live. That would be fun if we could figure it out.
Let's do it. Oh, maybe I'll bring Linda Perry.
What? Bring Linda Perry. Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, cool. Well, thanks for this time, and I'll see you when you're in LA then.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.